What's up everybody, Kamahl here, welcome back to another Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction video. So in the video today what we're going to be looking at is a sorceress build that I've been kind of messing around with for the past few days. I used to run a build kind of similar to this, but it was a lot more focused on applying the same type of damage, similar type of damage, but in a different way. This is a new variant on this build that I really thought would be kind of entertaining to do. It's really just a massive, super heavy AoE build with a lightning sorceress. So, a little disclaimer before we get into this. As with all of the build videos that I make, these builds will be capable of being made on Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction ladder, or single, well, not really single player because of the rune words that it does require. But these character builds that I am putting out, I have made on Hero Editor, meaning that the gear here that I'm wearing on these characters in single player is not legit. It is all gear that I have assembled throughout this program and put together in order to make these builds function, to show you guys builds that you can work towards, builds that you can aim towards later on in the ladder. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and look at our massive AoE lightning source build. Before we do, if you guys like this video, if you want to see more videos like this, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comment section down below what kind of build videos you're looking for. I have a few different ones that I have planned to come out in the future, but there's so many different builds in Diablo 2 that you can go with that I really don't know which order to put them out in. So I'm going to rely on either popularity or comments that I get requesting me to do different build videos talking about different builds. Anyways, let's jump into the build. So this is a sorceress, obviously, and it is a lightning damage type build. This is kind of a fusion build of both the Telestomper and the like bear source or melee source, depending on how you want to, I guess, phrase or describe it. I mean, there's different ways you can run the melee source. One of the variants is a bear source, but it's a dual dream lightning damage type source. Dual dream, what does that mean? Well, first off, let's go ahead and make sure we have Diablo on, so I'm not hitting random keys and not actually doing anything. So, the build. Standard for a lot of the stuff, but there are a couple things that are going to be different. Shootist Temper with a 5/5 light. Face it. If you're not too familiar with Diablo 2, there are unique jewels that you can pick up that are called facets. There's different damage type. There's lightning, fire, cold, and poison. Those are the different damage types that you can get on this, and each one has a scaling factor of 3% to 5%, both increasing your damage and decreasing the enemy's resistances. And then it also has the ability where it says 100% chance to cast level 47 chain lightning when you die. There's two different variants of the facets. You can either get one that casts a spell when you die or one that casts a spell when you level up, whichever one. Anyways, the 5/5 light die facets are going to be what I have in my weapon and my armor. So we have a Shootist Temper, which is just an amazing weapon for most source builds. I think cold source is the only build that I can really think of that you're going to want to. I mean, just basic builds, standard builds. Cold is probably the one that you're going to want to look for a different weapon on. Obviously, it's lightning and fire, not cold. Then for our helmet, we have the Dream Corona. Now, if I were to make this build myself online, I would probably put this in, I believe it's called a Grim Helm. It's the highest version of the skull helmet. And then for the shield, instead of putting it in a monarch, I would probably put it in a troll's nest. That's what I prefer to run with these dual dreams. But the reason that we have Dream on here is for the level 15 Holy Shock aura when equipped. Now, the Dream Helm and the Dream Shield, they will stack together. That's a lot of lightning damage. Not that much, though. Not that much until you modify the build to make it really, really extreme. There's a reason that this is ran on a sorceress. So we have the dual dream helmet and shield. This is a crafted amulet. Once again, this is crafted. It is a legitimate amulet that you can craft. 1 in 100 million chance that you'll ever see this, but there we go. Ormus robes, once again faceted with a 5/5 light facet. Ormus robe is just an extremely good robe for most sorceress builds. This one is +3 to lightning, which really doesn't. There's no Ormus robe that would be specifically the best for this build, just simply because there isn't any skills that are able to come on an Ormus robe that this build would benefit from. Then we have, because the +3 lightning, there's different versions of an Ormus robe that have different skills. Instead of +3 lightning, it could be +3 fireball, +3 ice bolt, things of that nature. We have Mage Fist light gauntlets. If I were to be playing online, this glove would be, they would be upped. You can use a recipe to up the gloves, increase their defense, but also increase the requirements to be able to use them. So, before you up something, see what it's going to turn into, see what the new requirements are going to be from the item. That way you're fully prepared to put it on before you up your gear and you're like, oh shit, now I'm running around without gloves on because I don't have enough strength or whatever it might be for you to put on. For rings, we have a Stone of Jordan, mana, increased mana, lightning damage, which is neither here nor there, but then +1 to all skills, that's pretty damn good. This one is going to be a Raven Frost. The most important thing for the Raven Frost is going to be cannot be frozen. 40 mana, it's nice. The 20 dexterity helps you reach your breaking points to apply gear and stuff. There's not really any dexterity requirements on this build, but just part of having a Raven Frost. But the most important reason that I have it on this build is for the cannot be frozen. Being frozen sucks. It's annoying. We have Arachnid's Mesh, which, as you'll see, very fast cast rate. A lot of faster cast rate on this build and a lot of all skills. Boots, we have War Travelers because Magic Find? I don't know. There's War Travelers. There's many different boots in the game. Pick the ones that fit your style. For the weapon swap, we have the very standard, very commonly used Spirit Monarch with CTA. CTA is going to give you Battle Command and Battle Orders. Battle Command increases the level of your skills. Battle Orders give you additional life. Now, that is the gear. That's what the gear is looking like. As far as the character build itself, we have enough strength to put on gear, enough dexterity to get up to 75% block chance. I made this build. I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to build it defensively. I knew I had an idea, but I wasn't for sure. So I reached out to my friend that actually introduced this game to me, or that I introduced me to Ladder. And I spoke with him, and he told me I would go max block, I think. And I was like, you know what? I'll try it. I've never made a max block source, so why not? Pretty impressed. It's pretty good. So max block, 75% chance is the highest chance that you have to block. Now, most builds you're going to want to try to get your resistances maxed, but it is what it is. It's not quite as important in this game as it is in games like Path of Exile. Your resistances can be below 75%, and it's not super detrimental. Obviously, the more resistances that you have, the better you'll feel while playing, the more safe you'll feel. But unless you're doing Ubers, it's not quite as important. Declone, I mean, it's just not quite as important. And then the rest into energy. We have no points into vitality. The rest goes all into energy. Now you may be asking yourself, why is this fucking idiot putting all of his points into energy? That's dumb. Well, it is and it's not, depending on the build. Now, me personally, there's a couple different builds that I would say putting all of your points into energy over health would be really good. I also forgot to mention all of these are, 40 life, light skills, so this is a very, very top. But the reason that you want to put your points into energy is for, not that, energy shield. Now, there's something that is not written in here about how energy shield and telekinesis work together. But let's talk about it. So energy shield. Energy shield, what it does is it takes a percentage of the damage that you take, and it applies that damage to your mana rather than your health. So you get hit with damage, it goes to your health instead. There is a drawback though. You take additional damage. I believe it's every 1 point of damage that would go to your health, 2 points go to your mana, or something along those lines. There's a damage variant. I forgot to look it up before I started recording, but understand that damage that would go to your health versus damage that goes to your mana on energy shield, there is a difference in how much damage is applied. Telekinesis, you add that with your energy shield. So you see how it says it does receive bonuses from telekinesis, but it doesn't tell us what it is. It actually lowers that damage variant. So when you start putting points into telekinesis, you can actually get to the point, let me try to look this up, where you're receiving less damage to your mana than you would have to your health. So let's see, if we go to Energy Shield, Diablo 2 on the wiki. Okay, and then... oh, come on. Alright, so this is what it says. Each point of telekinesis makes Energy Shield's damage absorption more effective. By default, for each point of damage absorbed by Energy Shield, 2 mana points are deducted, a 200% ratio. Each hard skill point in telekinesis makes Energy Shield 0.0625 mana per point more effective. For example, with 8 points in telekinesis, 1.5 mana points are deducted for each point of damage absorbed with a 150% ratio. With 16 points in telekinesis, 1 point of damage absorbed equals 1 point of mana loss, so 1-for-1 ratio at 16 skills. And then at 20 points in telekinesis, it does take hard skills. So even though this is leveled up to 40, it doesn't matter. It's the hard points that you have applied into that skill. You actually have to allocate a skill point to telekinesis for this to work. Once it gets up to 20, the ratio is 75%. So for every 1 damage, the enemy deals, you take 0.75 mana loss. There we go. That's really good. So what you're going to want to do, or at least what I did for this build, so if you're doing this build, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put 20 points into telekinesis, 20 points in energy shield. Once all of your other gear is applied, my energy shield is at 95%. From there, where do we put our skills? Well, remember when I was talking about Dream, and I said the Dream's pretty strong, but you can make it a lot stronger. That's where this ability comes in, Lightning Mastery. When you actually do Lightning Mastery, when you put points into Lightning Mastery, when you max out your Lightning Mastery, that Lightning Mastery damage applies to all of the lightning damage sources that you deal. And I will go over the Mercenary. I completely forgot until just now. But 518% additional lightning damage, which is, as you see, putting my attack damage, which is essentially AoE damage, up to 75,000 on the top end. Then we put points into Nova. We max out Nova because, like I said, this is a version of the Telestomper. Telestomper meaning you teleport to the boss or to wherever you're trying to go to, and you just spam Nova and then you teleport away. Super quick, super effective. This is my variant of it. And then the last thing we're going to put, we have a bunch of extra points, so we'll put them into Thunderstorm. We put them into Thunderstorm because, well, it's extra AoE damage. This is an AoE source build. You're basically just teleporting through and killing things. You want to put enough points in to get Shiver Armor, even though I have that set up wrong on my skills. I need to fix that. And then 1 point into Warmth because mana regeneration is always nice to have. Let's go ahead and change... Oh no, I do have that correct. Let's look at the Mercenary. So the Mercenary on this build is going to be pretty standard, pretty basic. We have Infinity on a Cryptic Axe. The reason that we have Infinity is for the level 12 Conviction Aura. Level 12 Conviction Aura will make it to where just about every single enemy in the game that is lightning resistant is no longer resistant to lightning. So it makes the enemies drop lightning resistance. There are some bosses and some enemies that you'll come across, like super unique, super elites, sometimes will be immune to lightning. Unfortunately, you may come across some that the Conviction Aura is not strong enough to make it drop. However, your Mercenary is strong enough to drop them, so don't worry about it. For the helmet, we have Andariel's Visage Demon Head. We do have that socketed with another light facet. The reason that we have that socketed with the light facet is for the enemy resistances being lowered. And it's also a die, so when he dies, which does happen occasionally, there's a nice, big, massive chunk of lightning damage being sent out. All the other reasons that you're going to want to use Andariel's Visage still stand strong. The Poison Nova, the plus skills doesn't really have that much effect aside from the Holy Freeze that your Mercenary does have if you get the Act 2 defense. Lifesteal. Lifesteal's a pretty big one, and then also the Strength helps being able to wear this stuff. For the armor, we have Archon Plate Fortitude. We have an Ethereal Plate, Ethereal AP Fort. Standard Mercenary build. Very strong, very, very strong Mercenary. I mean, he's doing between 1.8 and 6.8k damage, so that's pretty decent. So let's go ahead. How does the build perform? Well, let's first off get buffed up. That takes a second. So Battle Command, Battle Orders, Energy Shield, Shiver Armor, Thunderstorm, and then we can switch back. So now we have our Teleport, our Nova, and Static Shock. I actually didn't mention Static Shock, but Static Shock is really Static Field. I always call it Static Shock. Static Field. It actually reduces by a percentage, so it makes it really, really good for taking down bosses quicker. You hit them with a couple Static Shocks, boom, they're at half-life, then you can stomp them. So, let's do this. I didn't think they were dead for a second, so I tried to go back, but yeah. So, it's pretty okay. Pretty quick. Definitely not a slow build, I would say. Sometimes I do die in this area because I went max block rather than max mana. Normally with a build like this, I'd be looking at about 3 to maybe 2.8 to 3k mana. Unfortunately with this build, because I went max block, I'm sitting on less mana than I would like to, but that's fine because we're still gonna just stomp everything, fly through. He's usually lightning immune almost always, but that is the Conviction Aura doing its job. Try to stomp these ones. I'm pretty sure I hit it. I don't know why I look for loot. It's such a, it's a really funny habit because, I mean, I'm playing on single player. There's nothing that can drop. Even if something does drop, it's not like I have the room to be able to pick it up. But still, I'm still just... let this boss go down, and then... See? Force of Habit. It's alright, though. Get that full rejuve. And then I'll show you how Static Field works. So let's get Static Field up. Fully regen our manas. So Diablo is now at half-life. Super quick and easy. There we go. And then... Oh, wrong button. Don't mind me. Boom. Quick, easy, cheesy, lemon squeezy. This build is pretty... I can't... I'm all full. I can't use a town portal. As you can see, this build's very, very strong. You just kind of sprint through everything so quick. I really enjoy this build. This is a very long video, but that's fine. I really enjoy this build. I think it's really fun, and hopefully you yourself find a variant of the build that you would find enjoyable to play. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section down below, and I will see y'all in the next one. As per usual, I'm out!